So from the spiritual science perspective, I thought I'll share this very quickly. So this was carried out by scientists from the University of Hong Kong, China. And the topic is distinct neural activity associated with focused attention meditation and loving kindness meditation. So in simple terms, they were trying to understand how different types of meditation affect the brain. So before I proceed, let me just the um, thank the researchers. These are the researchers who had actually carried out this research. So this is to, I want to thank them. Let me remove the screen. Okay, stop share. All right, thank you so much. So yeah, so in their study, they actually explored how two types of meditation. So they have explicitly mentioned about this meditation in their thesis, the Anapanasati, which they termed it as focused attention meditation. They termed it as FAM, and Metta, that is loving kindness meditation. And they studied how these meditations affect the brain activity during the attention and emotional tasks. So they studied this on about 12 male Chinese expert meditators. Out of these 22, there were 11 who were focused on focused attention meditation, and 11 were focusing on loving kindness meditation. And another 22 male Chinese novice meditators, which means they are new to meditation. Out of this 22, 11 focused on focused attention meditation and 11 focused on loving kindness meditation. And they were recording their brain activity. They monitor their brain activity using 3T MRI scanner and also fMRI, the functional MRI scan, while performing these cognitive and effective tasks in both meditation and the baseline states. So the group who did meditation on focused attention, that is the Anapanasati meditation, which is all about sharp attention. So this involved concentrating on a single object like breathing and ignoring all the distractions. The expert meditators under this category showed better focus in attention focus with very fewer mistakes. The brain scans revealed that these kind of experts had different activity in attention related areas like the thalamus and precanus, suggested that they need less effort to stay focused. Now, on the other group, the loving kindness meditators, they focused on cultivating love and compassion towards others. So unlike the other meditation, the FAM, these meditators did not improve attention skills, but it's changed how the brain responded to emotional images. So while viewing the happy and sad pictures, these meditators showed stronger activity in brain areas. And that's linked to empathy and emotional regulations like, anterior and cingulate cortex and caudate. So the bit technical terms. So we'll not get into the details of this thesis, but the key takeaways are different meditations give different effects. So while one meditation improves focus, the other meditation enhances the emotional sensitivity. The brain changes with the practice. A long-term meditation leads to kind of measurable changes in how the brain works. They scanned using these MRIs, and these were the this is how it actually showed the emotional control aspect. So both these types of meditation helped process emotions, but in different ways. The first kind of meditation helped with stability, while the second kind of meditation, they strengthened the compassion. So why this matters? So this research shows that not all meditations are same, but depending on whether you want to focus better on deeper emotional connection or different perspectives, yeah, so each meditation will give different kind of aspects, different kind of results. So while this is what their research showed, what caught my attention was that if there is that love, kindness and compassion that is being added onto your meditation, the brain activity changes. The brain showed different scanning images, and that really produce a lot of very good results. There's another research also which has proved that if you provide compassion, this was done on the medical doctors, newly medical doctors who are getting into the hospitals and trying to address the patients. So you add compassion, their entire brain activity changes, their approach also changes. So I think this is something I just want to share, because today's topic is all about love, healing, and compassion. And I want to add this to what James is going to talk about. And James is going to be diving deep into this. And let's all hear from James. Thank you so much, Nikhil. This is what I wanted to share in quick capsule. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really a very informative research subject. Thank you so much for sharing with us. So, getting on to the real essence of the today's session. So, I would like to hand over it to Prithvi to take over the session, and we'll listen to Mr. James Parker.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I'm so sorry. We are so sorry, James. We took a little longer
No
time to
problem.
get into the conversation, but it was a lovely music. I really thank Chandu sir for bringing such young master on the session, and really very information. The information that Sunil shared was very useful. So let's dive into the conversation. And yes, James, so the topic that you chose is healing power of love, which is very, very important. The word love is most important to all of us. So, first of all, to start off with, James, when people say that love, they often, think of an emotion between people, two people having it. But what exactly is love? Is it an energy? Is it an emotion? Or is it a consciousness that we live in? What exactly love is?
Right. Oh, this is such a great question. And this is one that I think many people would struggle with, right? How do we define love? What is it really? People have ideas, of course, about what it is, and whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But I will tell you how I see it. So, first of all, Um, love is what we are. It's our very essence. It's our being. That's really what love is. Love is the ground beingness of what we are. And the way I like to look at it is that we are all one self having an experience as a multitude of selves. And when we remember what we are truly, the one self, that's remembering what we are as love. Love is recognizing our very beingness for what it is. It's the truth of what we are. Expressions of love or aspects of love can be expressed as peace and joy, most commonly. So, when you're having a very peaceful experience, like when you're deep in meditation, this is an aspect or an expression of love. And when you're very joyful for no reason at all, just because you're you, that's another expression of love. And so love is kindness, love is willingness to give and to receive without any reservation. Um, Most of us are taught that giving is a good thing to do, but then we're not really taught very well about how we should receive things. And sometimes it's hard to receive things because we don't know that giving and receiving really are the same thing and really should be viewed as one and the same. And so when a friend presents us with a gift, we should always receive it with kindness and with gratitude. And that's an expression of love, being willing to receive without any conditions, without any feeling that, oh, now I owe you something in return because you gave me a gift. That's not a loving way to receive. A loving way to receive is to say, thank you, my dear friend. I really appreciate this gift. And so love is really the deepest aspect of our being. It's what we all are, it's what we share in common. It is an energy, yes, it's an energy which flows. Love is infinite. Love is everywhere. Um, now, some people may say, "Well, I don't see it. I don't know where it is." Where is it? You said it's everywhere. It's infinite. It is everywhere. It is infinite. You can find it anywhere. But you can also not be aware of it for many reasons. You cannot be aware that love is there, and this is where problems arise. So, so that's how I see love. I hope I answered that question for you.
And that was too deep, James, because you said it is the very essence, and there are certain qualities that we show up as we are in love, like kindness, gratitude, and we in peace and compassion. That's so beautiful. Uh, and one more thing is, James, like usually in a relationship, people consider love to be an attachment. They mistake it to be an attachment and dependency, have an emotional dependency, which is actually fear-based. It is not love-based. So how can one get to that awareness where they need to know that they are operating from fear? The attachment and the
Mhm,
dependency is coming from fear and not out of love. So
mhm,
how one can recognize and correct
mhm.
the way of they approach a relationship?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of times when we observe relationships, we do see that. We do see that that people who are in a relationship realize that it's a valuable thing, but they also immediately start thinking, oh, I don't want to lose what I have. I am, and it becomes an attachment. It becomes a codependent situation. And this is the part that can be, I'll just say unhealthy, because it kind of tends to block love, as much as you don't want it to. That can be the effect of it. Once it's a strong dependency, um, what happens in that kind of a situation is that um, people will have expectations. They'll expect something, right? In the relationship, they'll expect you have to be here for me at this time because I need something. And when we have these kinds of expectations for the other, um, it's not really a loving relationship anymore. Love truly doesn't want to put a limit on anything or anyone. Love accepts all that is now and as it is. And if something changes, love is willing to accept that change and not impose something on it. Like an expectation is kind of almost an imposition of, well, it has to be the way I see it, or I'm not going to approve, or I'm going to withhold my love. And so we have to, when we truly love another person, we only want that their will be done. Okay. We say, I want the best for you, and I'm not going to tell you what's the best for you. You know exactly what's the best for you, and I want that. And therefore, in those situations, if you truly want what's best for the other, and the other loves you in return and truly wants what's best for you, if the best for both of you is to be together in a relationship, then there's absolutely nothing to fear about that relationship coming to an end. It's a spontaneous, natural relationship. There's no forcing of it. And this is the best kind of a relationship to be in. It's not a fear-based relationship. It's a relationship where each one can express exactly how they're most comfortable expressing themselves without any expectations of the other. And it's really important not to have the expectations because the expectations imply that there's judgment. And whenever there's judgment, I always say it's a negative thing. It's not a good thing. Whenever we judge anyone for any reason at all, it's never a good thing. And so we've got to be in a position in our relationships where we're not judging the other person, but we are supporting them, and we do want what's best for them, because whatever's best for them is really best for us too. And under those conditions, the relationship will really flow very smoothly. And if it's two people in a relationship, they'll just have so much more joy and peace together. And joy is really the key, right? It's like, why are people in relationships to begin with? It's really because of the joy that comes from it. There can be lots and lots of joy that comes through being with another person. And that's love expressing itself. When you feel that joy coming through, it's an expression of love. It's a sharing of love energy between those two individuals, and it flows most freely without judgment and without expectations. So when we have the judgment and the expectations, it gets in the way of love, and it really does detract from the relationship. Even if you don't know that it does, it does. And so that's another reason just to put it down and not judge, but just be content that you are with that other person. So hope that answered your question.
Wonderful. As you just said, expectation kills the joy in the relationship, and deep acceptance is also equal to love. That's what Buddha says. Love and deep acceptance go hand in hand. That's really beautiful, James. And James, it's often easier for people to uh, give love to others. That's what they think, it's easy to love somebody else than their own self. When it comes to their own self, they carry a lot of judgments, resentment, and grief within them. And they think that sacrificing is loving others. And they really don't think of loving themselves. So I think everything starts with self-love. So what do you say about that?
Yes, I totally agree. And this is another area where I think many people may struggle, and that they do believe that, love is giving to others and being there for others. And, in all of this that they want to do, they forget to look at their own self. And it's so important to look at your own self and to be content with who you are and to be accepting of who you are, and to remember that what you are is shared with everyone. And so when you look at another, you remember that there's, at the very base essence level of who you are, there is no difference, absolutely no difference. Okay. There's differences in appearance, of course, but who we are is a shared identity. And so we want to remember that our own self, as we see it, is just as important. It's equally as important as other selves. And so one of the blocks to love is judgment. When we judge, it's typically negative, but even if it's a positive judgment, it's not great, because it implies that there could be a negative judgment. And so judgment is best to be put aside and never used, because what happens when we make a judgment, and we can judge ourselves too, and that's primarily not what I'm going to talk about because of your question. Um, we can have expectations of ourselves, and you can think of many, like, oh, I'm a student, and so I need to get an A in this class. And if I don't get an A, well, I'm not going to think too kindly of myself, right? If I don't get that top level grade, I'm going to be very unhappy with myself, and I'm probably going to do some things that aren't very loving towards myself, because I'm holding a judgment. Now, what's the judgment do? It puts it establishes a grievance, right? It establishes this grievance that says, I now have a problem because I don't accept what is. I don't accept myself. I am projecting some part of myself out, you know. I have failed because I didn't pass this class, or I didn't get an A in this class, or I got fired from my job and now I feel like I'm worthless and my wife's upset. And, so there's lots and lots of ways to judge ourselves, and it's all wrong. Okay. It's all absolutely wrong. You just want to remember that. Anytime we judge ourselves, it's wrong. Uh, but when we do, we have a grievance. And the grievance is an example of using thought in a wrong sort of a way. So people say, well, what's mind for anyway? Why do we have a mind? Why do we think? Well, the mind is there because it's a mechanism by which spirit expresses itself. Okay. That is the function of mind. That is why mind exists. Mind exists so spirit can express. We also have a physical body. The physical body exists so that we can have a physical experience. And that's the whole reason for it. Now, you can misidentify what you are, and you can mistake yourself as a body. You can say, "Oh, well, there's this body here. I must be that." Right? I am that body, right? That's a mistake. That's a mistake that many people make, and that's called the ego thought. The ego thought says, "I am a body. I am this limited individual that's limited in time, that's limited in space." It's completely wrong thinking. And the wrong thinking is what gets us our problems that come up. What we are in fact is spirit. We are the one being of the universe, united in spirit. That's what we are. And the spirit cannot be contained by a body, but the spirit expresses itself through the body. But when we have the wrong thoughts, like I am a body or I'm holding a grievance, the result of that is that the flow of energy from spirit through mind and into body is blocked. The grievances block the flow of love energy. And so, can the physical body live without love energy? And the answer is no, it can't. You can feed the body, you can water it, you can clothe it, you can shelter it, but without love energy, the body will become sick and it will die, because the love energy is the basis for the body to be alive in the first place. Love, another way to look at love is the energy that holds life and awareness together. Okay. So life and awareness are both aspects of spirit. Spirit is life. Spirit is awareness. What holds these two aspects together in the body is the love energy. The love energy holds them together. So if the love energy is blocked and it flows from spirit through mind into body, if it's blocked, then the life and the awareness aren't held together tightly anymore. And the life energy can leave the body, or if it's diminished, the result is illness and sickness. Okay. And so dropping the grievances is super important. And the way we do that is by forgiving. We just forgive ourselves for everything that we thought we did that was wrong. We thought, oh, it was wrong to, you know, do whatever. I didn't get that A in that class. I only got a B or a C. And so I was kind of hating on myself. That's that grievance that's now blocking the love energy. And now I could get actually sick from that. I could develop any kind of sickness from holding a grievance like that. But I gotta realize that I need to forgive myself. I need to accept myself for who I am, accept the present moment for exactly what it is. And in accepting myself, I'm expressing love towards myself. And that's why it's really important to forgive, forgiving oneself and forgiving others. So we can judge against others too. And it's always the wrong thought. It's always the wrong thought. So when we do it, it's really important to forgive. And we'll forgive ourselves for doing it, and we'll forgive the other for whatever. They didn't meet our expectations, or we felt they did us wrong. We just need to forgive, because forgiveness points us right back towards truth, and truth is love. Okay. So forgiveness is correct in the sense that it points us right back to where we need to go in order to regain our health and our peace and our joy. Because without forgiveness, we'll be trapped in not accepting who we are, and we'll be trapped in believing these wrong thoughts that we're holding. So forgiveness is the pathway to truth. Forgiveness itself is not truth, but it's the pathway to truth. And that's why it's so important.
So, James, while talking about it, you said that in the present moment, we need to accept, and that's how we allow the love to flow within us. So, what is this peculiar link between love and present moment?
Present moment exists without any sort of expectations. So the mind can decide that it wants something to be a certain way. And so what can happen is we can live in our mind, and we can live in a future that we create, and we say, well, if I don't like something that is now, I'll just live in my mind, and I'll I'll hope something changes. And it's okay to have hopes, and it's okay to work for change if you don't like something. I mean, certainly, definitely work for change that you want to see. But problems can come when you live in your mind, because whatever future vision you have isn't necessarily reality. It's basically a dream. The a more accurate picture of what is the present moment, because the present moment exists without any uh, any sort of influences from your expectations. And so if you can see what is now and have an accepting point of view of it, and a welcoming point of view, even if it's not great. Like, let's say a person is feeling unwell, there's an illness. Um, a good way to start to recover from an illness is to start to be in an accepting way to deal with it. Don't deny it. Don't say it's not true. Don't say, "Oh, I just wish it was gone." A better way is to accept that it's there, but also to know the truth of the situation. And the truth of the situation is you're an infinite being, you're a powerful being, and you create your reality. You create your own reality with every thought you have. So, whatever thoughts you have is creating your reality as the time unfolds. And so, if you don't like this illness, you can change it through your thinking. All you have to do is say, well, I'm going to be with this illness for now because it's here, and I'm not going to label it. I'm not going to call it whatever my doctor calls it, you know. I'm just going to experience whatever sensations are coming through the body without resisting it. And at the same time, I'm going to say, this is not what I want. I don't want this. And cancel the idea that this illness is with you. If your doctor said, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about this. You're just going to be on these meds for the rest of your life," cancel that idea. Just say, no, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I'm an infinite being. I'm a powerful being. I'm an all-powerful being. I create my reality. I don't agree that that's true. In fact, it's so untrue that it's a ridiculous thing to believe in. And withdraw your power of belief from it that you could be sick, while at the same time forgiving yourself and others so that you can unblock blocks that exist in the mind that are preventing the flow of love. So as these blocks are unblocked and your thought process is changing to, it's absolutely ridiculous that I could be sick like this. I'm an infinite, all-powerful being, and I choose what I want, and I'm choosing health because I'm love, and I want to express my love the way I want it. And that illness will clear up as the blockages are removed and as you go deeper and deeper into your experience of love. The illness may clear up immediately without any time at all, or it might require some time because it can sometimes be important to withdraw your power of belief that's behind that illness, that's powering it and giving it its own reality. And so all of the power comes from the spiritual level through the mind. And the mind then is very, very important in all of this. We have to be able to control the mind with our own will. Our will controls the mind. And that's another reason why meditation is super important, because in meditation, we get to see how the mind can become very calm and very still. And we can witness the power of love that lives in the heart and how that power flows between spirit and mind and body. And when we access that power, we can cure ourselves, we can cure others. I personally have witnessed myself to be cured from many illnesses. I've had some chronic illnesses that my doctor told me would be with me for forever. And, here's some pills and take one a day every day forever. And, and it's an industry, it's an industry. They know there's a lot of money in that. And, it's a dependent relationship that's set up between you and your doctor. And, it's okay. I'm not saying going to a doctor is a bad thing. It's okay, if you have to go. But if you get into a situation like that I was in, where, I went to my doctor and my doctor just said, well, here's some pills. This situation that you have is chronic, and I don't see this changing. But if you take these pills, your symptoms will be manageable and you're going to be better. Um, that's not ideal. And I think most people would agree that they don't want that. Some people will settle for it because they think that they have to. They think that there isn't another option. But you don't have to settle for that. You can withdraw the power of belief that's behind that illness, and you can say, I don't agree with this at all. Cancel that idea. And I'm an infinite being. I'm an all-powerful being. I am love. And when that love energy flows, you will suddenly find yourself completely 100% healthy. And the illness will just be gone. And you may not even realize it. Like I didn't realize when it happened to me, I didn't realize the illness was gone. I still was taking my pill. But I realized that I felt great. And I thought, why am I taking this pill? I feel great. I don't even have the symptoms. I'm just getting rid of the pills. So I threw the pills in the trash, and I didn't need to go back to my doctor for any more pills. And so that was great. So I had like several things that cleared up all at once. And I'll give you an example of one thing that I had that didn't clear up all at once. And I had to think about why that was. So I had seasonal allergies. And the seasonal allergies started for me, I think I was about 26 years old. And before that in my life, I never had allergies to tree pollen. But one year, I suddenly was suffering from a major episode of allergies, and I couldn't bear, I could barely breathe. It was a really rough situation. I didn't know what was happening. And so somebody told me, "Oh, you have allergies. Look, there's all this pollen in the air. You're allergic." Okay, give me the meds, And I took the meds and they helped, but it's still not great. You're still suffering. And when I had my experience of unconditional love, the unconditional love was able to flow through my mind because I had been meditating, and the meditation removed the blocks to the flow of love. Okay. That's exactly why I had the experience, because I had been meditating, and I had been even meditating in a group of other people who were already at the level of love. They were already experiencing it. And so that can actually help a person too to remove the blocks when you're in the group where some of the group members have removed their blocks and love is flowing freely. Because if it's flowing freely through them, it'll have an even better chance to flow through you as you meditate. So that was my experience. I had this experience of unconditional love, and immediately, most of my illnesses cleared up without any warning. They were just gone. And it took me a little while to see that they were gone. Um, but the allergy was still there. And it was there, but it was in a mild form. It wasn't at all severe. It was just kind of there. And I got to thinking about it, and I was thinking, wow, I wonder, everything else went away, but I wonder why this allergy is still here. And so the more I thought about it, the more I thought it has to be because I'm believing in it. I'm believing in the story that I was told that you're allergic to this tree pollen. Somebody told me that when I had my first big episode. Oh, you're allergic to this tree pollen. Well, that thought came in and I accepted it and said, yeah, that has to be true. I believed that without any question. And so the allergies were still there, but it was a mild allergy. And so I started withdrawing my power of belief from it. I started to say, no, I'm not allergic to tree pollen. That's ridiculous. I don't want suffering. I don't want pain. That's not love. And as I told myself that every day, the allergy cleared up. And now it's completely gone. I don't have any more seasonal allergies. So that's my story on healing, and I hope you can get something out of it that you can take away. And if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Definitely, James. That's a inspiring personal story that you've gone through and healed your own self through love. So, James, usually when someone gets to know that they are having a chronic disorder or disease, usually their mind gets disturbed and there's a lot of negativity around them. You said that you were already meditating, but not everybody will be meditating. So, how will a person get to the state of love? Is it only through meditation, or is there anything else a person can do to get to the state of love and stay there to heal themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so, the big challenge for people, as I see it, is how do we get past these stories that we tell ourselves that aren't true? Okay. And everyone has to go through this, I think. We have lots and lots of stories that we tell ourselves that aren't true. And the basic story is that I'm a body, I'm a limited self, I'm completely dependent on this body. Whatever happens to this body, it's me. And oh my, if this body dies, that's the end. you know and people believe that, and that's the tragic part of it. And when you believe that, it sets up all kinds of blocks to love. You can't know your true self. And so you have this false sense of self as to what you are. And getting out of that situation is the big challenge, because how do you get out of it? It seems so real. As soon as somebody tells you, hey, you're that body, and you believe it, you're stuck. I mean, you're stuck because the power of your beliefs behind it, and you don't even know it. You don't even know that you put the power of your belief behind it. And you don't even know that you have an option to change it. You think you're stuck and you think there's no way out because, hey, this is what it is. But it's not true. It's not true. You can change anything you want as soon as you realize that you create your own reality, and you create your reality through your thoughts. And so as soon as you say, I'm withdrawing the power of my belief that's behind this thought, that thought goes away. It has no more power to exist. It has no more power to affect you. And so I would encourage everybody to question, who am I? That's another way. So there's meditation as a way, and then there's contemplation as a way. And you can just question who you are, and you can sit quietly and you can ask yourself, who am I? And be with that. And try to see what comes up when you ask yourself, who am I? And a lot of times people will look at it initially and they'll see this story. I'm this name. I was born in this place at this time. I studied this thing. I am my job. People identify with what they do and places where they grew up. But all of it is just a story. And then you come to the question of, well, am I a story? Is that what I am? Maybe I'm a story, you know? Am I a character in a book? And and then you realize as you keep contemplating it, no, that's not right. I mean, that's what's happening, but that's not really what I am. And so I would encourage everyone to dig down, and try to see that at the base, at the bottom of everything, what's happening is there's love, there's awareness, there's beingness, and there's life. And this is really what we are. This is what we are. Love is expressing itself as awareness, as life, as joy, as peace, as beingness. And when you can identify as that, that's a much more truthful way to see who you are, and not as some limited body. And so I would say a person should also use contemplation as a way. And I learned contemplation because I was reading the teachings of Ramana Maharshi, and he always told people, ask yourself, who am I? That was how he advised almost every single person that came to him. What should I do? He would say, ask yourself, who am I? Stay with that question until you find the answer. So that's another way of doing it.
Wonderful, James. And the way you were saying we need to contemplate on who we really are. That's what Patriji was saying, that the first alpha level of enlightenment is to know there is no death. You are infinite, and you are a soul. You live forever. That's the first level of enlightenment. And as you go on, you reach a level that is called the omega of the enlightenment, where you understand you are everything and you are everywhere. That's the ultimate state of oneness. So it was such a beautiful conversation with you, James. Now that the most big ventures today, they are driven by ambition and numbers and ego validation. But for a mega project like Omega to be created with the pure sense of love, what needs to be done?
Hmm. Yeah, I suppose, when we act through true unconditional love, we're acting in a selfless kind of a way. We're not looking for any personal gain. We're looking to do what's best for everyone. How can I achieve the greatest good? How can I eliminate the most suffering? Not necessarily how can I make the most money? How can I, how can I get compensated for what I'm doing? Um, this is the selfish way to act, and I know people do it, and I know why they do it. But if we can be much less selfish and much more loving in what we do, we can actually get a result that's optimal. And we can many times get to that result very quickly and with less effort, surprisingly. People feel like they have to work and put in a lot of effort. And you do when you're acting in a selfish way because you're trying to get compensated and you're trying to maximize your compensation and you're always looking for an opportunity for a payoff. This is a lot of work, It can be very draining on your energy. Um, but when you're acting in an unselfish way, in a loving way, and you're trying to serve others by serving love. So if you remember, if you think about service, what is service? Well, for me, service is how can I best serve love? Okay. I don't want to serve the false self. I don't necessarily want to serve someone's interests or a particular agenda. But I think the best way to operate is to say, how can I best be in service to love? And then go in that direction because that direction will lead you on the path that's going to yield the best results for everyone. Okay. Love cares about everyone and wants the best for everyone. And the will of love is not that anyone would suffer. Okay. If we suffer, it's because we put up some blocks against love, and that's why we're suffering. Um, and so I would just say, ask yourself, how can I best be in service to love? I'll give you a small example of what happened to me yesterday. One of my neighbors came over and was talking to me, and she told me about how her daughter is at the university and needs to take a chemistry class this summer in order to pass through her major area. And her daughter's very, very bad at chemistry and is very worried about this. And I said, oh, my PhD is in chemistry and I teach chemistry over at the tech college. And she said to me, oh, do you think you could help my daughter? Do you think you could tutor her? And I said, sure, I can, of course. Just give her my information, tell her to contact me. And I didn't ask for anything in return. I didn't say, here's my rate, I charge this much per hour. I just said, tell her to contact me. I'd be happy to help her. And my intention is to just help her. If she calls me, I'm going to help her. And if she asks me, what do you charge? I'm going to tell her I don't charge anything. If you want to give me something, that's fine. I'll be happy to accept it, but I'm not going to charge anything because I want to do this to help you. I have a job, my job pays me. I don't need extra money, and I do like to help people from time to time. So I'll do it in service to love. And really that's why I do my jobs too. I have one full-time job and I have two part-time jobs and it keeps me super, super busy. And I realize I'm doing it because I love to do it. I love to help people. I'm so busy, I could easily quit one or the other of those part-time jobs and I would have enough money and everything would be fine. But I look at those part-time jobs and I say, wow, I'm really helping those people out. They really love the service that I'm giving to them. It's very beneficial for them. I love giving this service. I don't want to quit these jobs. And so I'm continuing to do that work, and we'll see how long that goes. I think it'll go for a long time because the energy of love is flowing through me and propelling me. And I don't get tired. I don't get exhausted, even when I work all day long. So, so that's my advice on how can we best get a result. It's to be in service to love.
Beautiful. That's the best advice I guess we have got. James, it's really heart-touching talking to you. And thank you so much for giving out your time and your busy schedule. You know, you said you do 3 jobs and still you took out time for us. That's really wonderful. So, James, if we have any questions, we can take it up. I'll give it over to Nikhil for Q&A. Nikhil, please go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Prithvi. Thank you so much, James. That was really, a great wisdom coming from your experiences. It's great to hear from you. And when you were saying that chemistry experience, I could relate my experience. And whenever we truly come out of love to serve people, we don't care about all the other things, money or position or something that doesn't matter to us. So it comes out of true love. So that was really amazing. Yes, so we'll go for Q&A now. If we have any questions from the participants, can raise your hands so that we can unmute them. I think Anil have a question. He has already posted a question in the chat. Um, he was asking like, would it be possible to dive into how love transcends beyond space and time, and couple of examples that can help to realize our potential and possibilities with love frequency?
Mhm. Yeah, sure. I mean, love definitely goes beyond space and time. Space and time are mental constructs, and they don't have any objective reality. Okay. And this is one of the mistakes people make when they look around with the body's eyes. They think, oh, exists. It's an external reality. Oh, time must exist. It's an external reality. But it's not. It's not an external reality. It's a product of your state of mentation. It's a product of looking at the world through the body's eyes. So there is no time. And there isn't even any space, honestly. But it seems that there is. And so, you know, if you truly know yourself, you know that you always were. And that's like an eternal, uh, that's looking at eternity. When you know yourself truly as you are, you know that time doesn't exist. When time doesn't exist, that's eternity. Eternity is now. It's exactly now. It's not a second ago. It's not a second into the future. That's mentation. Eternity is exactly right now. And now always is. Always. So eternity always is, and there is no time. And so if you ask yourself, well, was there a point when I didn't exist? And is there coming a point when I won't exist? No, that's a false idea. You always were, you always will be. You're always this love, you're always this love energy. You're always this awareness, you're always this life, you're always this joy, you're always this peace. That's exactly what you are. You're always that. Even when your mind gets in the way and says, we got a problem here, and you start to believe, oh my, we got a problem here. Um, you're still that. You're still that love. You're still that joy. You're still that peace. Even if it goes out of your awareness because some thoughts come in to distract you from what you truly are. So, eternity is now. And that's why it's so important too when we talk about the present moment and looking at it and accepting it, because that all time is contained in the present moment. Okay. So that's the correct way to look at it. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. So being in the present moment is the ultimate practice that we do, and meditation is one of the greatest practice that helps us to be stay in the present moment so that we don't disconnect from our true self.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
is there any questions from anyone? I think there is no questions.
Nikhil, I think there's a continuity question of Anil in the chat there.
Okay. Okay, there's one more question waiting us. Let's
Could you-
dive into few services that one can offer to them and others with their resources like time, wisdom, and at times sending the blessings from. And okay, this is just a statement that he was giving, I think. Yes, I think it's not a question. Yeah.
Okay.
He was wishing, he is sending his wishes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anil.
Sending wishes and sending blessings is a way to express love, and we can do that with our thoughts. We can extend good wishes and goodwill and loving energy to all those around us. And that's always a great thing to do. Love always seeks to extend itself, always seeks to increase itself. And so wishing others well is a way to extend that love and to increase that love. And when we wish others well, it comes back to us also. So whatever we send out, whatever we give, ultimately we're receiving that as well. Okay? So if there's ever this temptation to be mean to someone or to be unkind to someone, remember, whatever you send out will come back to you. So that's a good reason not to send out unkind thoughts or, because it goes around, it comes back. And it comes back because it's a way for us to learn that, that may not be the best way to love others through unloving thoughts, and so we learn. There's plenty of opportunities to learn, and that's actually, learning is a loving thing to do because it helps us to see truth and it helps us to lose false ideas. So learning is always a great thing.
I think there is another question. How do we know when we are truly following with love rather than acting from the mind?
Right. Good question. So my experience with love has been that once the unconditional love came to me, it was like a feeling state that came into my heart level chakra area, and it caused the heart level chakra to catch on fire, basically, with a very, very warm, burning sensation, very pleasant, not unpleasant, but very, very warm, enveloping sensation that I can say is the fire of love. And that fire of love sometimes is like little coals, like embers, glowing embers, and sometimes it's burning brightly and flowing very strongly. But being aware that that love is flowing can always help to know, am I doing this with love or not? Is this love flowing through me and wanting to extend to others and being kind to others and helping others when they need my help, when they ask for it? Am I willing to give my time to others when they ask me for it? And so I'm very, when somebody asks me something, I very much try to accommodate if I can, if I'm able to, I'll accommodate them. And so when we act from a non-selfish way, right? I'm not looking for profit motivation. I'm not looking for some personal gain. But somebody just asked me, hey, can you do this for me? And I just say yes because I just want to help this person out. that's a sign that you're doing it for love. You're not entering into some quid pro quo relationship like, oh yeah, sure, I'll help you with that, but now I'm going to expect you to turn around and do me this favor, right? Because as soon as that happens, you're not doing it for love. You're doing it for self-interest. And self-interest is typically not love. So you can always ask yourself, why am I doing this, right? Why am I doing anything that I'm doing? And the answer is, if you're doing it truly, you're doing it because of love. Okay, you're doing it out of love because you recognize that that other person who's asking you for some help, it's still you. I mean, there's always this sense of a me and a you, right? But at the very, very deep essence level, we're the same. Spirit is one. Spirit is one. Spirit is the level of truth. It's the level of love, and it flows through everything. And it's what we are. So this spirit is what I am, and it's what you are. And so if you ask me, can you give me some help? I know that request is actually coming from me. And of course, I'm going to help me. Why wouldn't I? You know? And so if you're doing it with that attitude, you have to be doing it for love. So that's my
True.
answer.
Whatever comes without expectation from us, that's truly from out of love. And if there is some kind of sort of expectation, then it is coming from mind in a simple way
Yeah.
to
If it's
yeah.
quid pro quo, I'll do this for you if you do that for me. That's not love. That's looking for selfish gain, you know. And people do that, and they do that in their relationships too. And so, if you do that in your loving relationship, then it's a way that you tend to limit love, and limiting love is never the best way to go. Okay.
Yeah, there is another question. Is there any connection between love and silence?
Oh, yeah. Is there a question between love and silence? So I'll say silence is beautiful, and beauty is also an expression of love. Whenever we see beauty, we see love. And so if you see some natural beauty, if you see flowers and you recognize that beauty, you're seeing it in silence. Okay. The flower exists in silence. It doesn't say anything, it doesn't make a sound, but it exists for you. And it's love offering you a view of itself. When you recognize beauty, what you're recognizing is love expressing in form. You might see a beautiful sunset and all these colors in the sky, and you say, wow, isn't that beautiful? But who is recognizing the beauty there? Who, who? The question is, who sees the beauty? Does the sky know it's beautiful? Or is it love flowing through you, seeing this beauty and recognizing itself? And and I think that's what it is. I think it's this love that's flowing through and it's seeing this natural beauty, this amazing sunset or these amazing flowers. And the idea hits, wow, isn't it beautiful? And it comes in silence. There's no sound. It comes in silence. And the recognition of beauty is love seeing itself expressing in a certain way. And so when we see beauty, that's another form of love manifesting. And typically it comes through silence. And being silent can be very, very beautiful. I've uh, I've gone through some periods of silence, not terribly long, a couple of days of intentional silence, and it can lead to some very profound experiences. So, recommend that to anybody who is searching for love. Try to have at least one full day of silence where you don't say anything at all and see what happens.
Wonderful. So there's another question. operating from this state of love, selflessness, care, and how we conduct ourselves in corporate jobs where we see so many toxicity, where we spend a lot of time every day.
Yeah, these kinds of jobs can be very, very difficult and very, very draining. And I would say if you're in that kind of an environment, then always what you can do what's within your control. Okay. And what you can do is you can always be kind to everyone. Even if your boss isn't kind to you, you can still be kind to your boss. And you can be kind to all your colleagues. And if you're a boss and you have employees to supervise, you can choose kindness. You can choose to be kind to them, and you can choose to recognize their humanity, and you can choose to be understanding. If someone didn't meet an expectation, you can choose to treat them with kindness and compassion and understanding. And I truly believe if you do that, that people will work together better and that productivity will increase and that others will be very appreciative, even if they don't understand where it's coming from. There'll be some level of appreciation and they'll feel like they're noticed and they'll want to contribute more to the team because you're loving that person through your kindness. And when bosses are mean and they want to punish because you didn't meet an expectation, it can actually, I mean, they're trying to get the productivity up by causing fear in the job place, but it actually can be counterproductive because a person may react in a way that doesn't really increase the productivity. But when you're kind to everyone, people appreciate you more for you and they're more open to wanting to work with you and wanting to do things together. And that can really increase the productivity and keep your employees more motivated to keep working in the way that the company would really like for them to work. And so I think just being absolutely kind to everyone in this sort of professional environment really, really is the payoff for success and not going down the road of, well, if you didn't meet this deadline, guess what? You're fired or you're demoted or we're gonna move you into this other job that's not so pleasant or whatever the consequence is. A lot of times it's a very negative consequence and people are afraid of that. And instilling fear in someone is not love at all. It's not a way to be loving. And so being kind, I think, is the answer. And I think the company will benefit greatly if we're kind to everyone that we're working with because the productivity is just going to pick up. So that's the way I see it.
Thank you, James.
Mhm.
Thank you. No more questions. Yeah, I think there is no more questions. Thank you so much, James, for your patience in answering our questions and sharing your insights and also your wisdom with all of us. Thank you so much.
My
So
pleasure.
have a
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be here and to talk with you about this. And if you'd like me to come back sometime, that'd be great. I'd be happy to come back.
that's a great honor. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Now
a
I
lot,
would,
you all.
Prithvi, yeah, you can continue.
Thank you, Nikhil. So, James, we also have Sharma sir on the call.
Hmm.
Hi, Sharma sir. He is the trustee of Omega Pyramid that's coming up in Dallas. You met him last time on Infinity Session.
Hello. Hi, great to see you.
Hi, James. Thank you so much. So great wisdom sharing, and so you have given the message of so for this Omega Pyramid, the Grand Omega Pyramid project. So so it is the unconditional love we have to operate from. So is that the message I took? Is that correct? How do I expand my unconditional love for this? So that how can I allow space for this project?
So I think you'll get the best results on the project if people approach it through how can I best be of service to love, and realize that whatever they do to advance the project, they're doing it for their own self. And that's the best payoff. And hopefully people aren't doing it because they're seeking only just some profit, only just, a paycheck or whatever they can get out of it. If people come together, and you can even give the message to people who are working on the project that we'd really love to have your service on this project as your service to love. And if the plan is that you're paying people to do stuff, that's great. You pay people with when you give people a paycheck, you remember that you're giving them this paycheck because you value their service. You love the fact that they are serving this cause, which is really to advance love in the world. And if you can give that message to people who are working on the project that we really want your service as service to advance the cause of love, that should really get the project moving without too many difficulties or hang-ups, because the difficulties come when people are looking for their own interest. Well, I'll do this if I get paid by tomorrow, and if I don't, well, the heck with it. I'm going to go do something else. and then you're left without somebody who was doing something critical and important, and you got to go find somebody to do it. So if you can get that message out that we're all in this together working to serve love and the cause of love. And that's why we're doing it. And once we have this beautiful pyramid, this beautiful omega, then, it's going to bring the community together, and it's going to be in a way to advance love. Then I think people will work more smoothly together because they're all in this common cause of service to love. So yeah, that's my message for you.
Great. Yeah. So everybody is working for this project voluntarily. So it is out of love for the project. They're all working. So they're all coming together. So and I will definitely. So I got your message. So I'll imbibe more of this in myself. First of all, going forward. Thank you so much for your message, James. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sarmasha. James, we also have Sam on call. Can we unmute him?
Hey, James. Thank you so much.
Great to see you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. While talking about love, you have covered so many important points, like how meditation is important, and how you need to be aware of the fact that you are creating your own reality and you are not your body, and how love is very strongly connected to the present moment, how love is our own self in the first place, and the truth, and how it is expressed in the form of joy, peace, and finally the way you explained about silence, how silence naturally happens when you're in love. So beautiful. And how the service is love in action, and how it is beautifully linked to the Omega project. Now I see the Omega pyramid as the embodiment of love itself. What a beautiful presence. And yeah, I don't want to see you as a different entity. So I love myself for creating this session in my reality. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'll be happy to visit sometime whenever I get a chance to come to India. So let's keep in touch. And would love to come and see the results of the Omega project someday. So I'll be in touch as I develop a plan to come to India for a visit.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, James. I think Champa Ben is wanting to talk. Can you please unmute her?
Hello, Master. It's wonderful to listen to your talk. It's such a very and very informative. But the question I've got. Can you hear me?
Not
Yes.
very well.
Let me just adjust my headset.
Oh, now I can hear you much better.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, thank you very much for this session. I joined in at 4:30 our time, and I enjoyed it. My gratitude to you. Can you hear me?
I think you were muted for a sec, but now we can hear you again.
Right. Is it okay?
Yes.
Right. My gratitude to you. So thank you for the session. I really enjoyed listening to it. I joined in at 2:30 our time. That's the UK time. And when everybody was asking question, I am into a little bit of about the pyramids. And I don't know whether it's a relevant question, but I'm going to put it to you. What it is, I run a group, and in that group we got an allotment. And I've got this idea that if I create a pyramid for the to go over the plants where I plant the plant on the beds, is it appropriate?
Not sure if I understand the question. You're asking me, is it appropriate to have a plan to plant some gardens around the pyramid? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, well, I've been testing, like, when you say, people say you put a pyramid, a small pyramid on the food or fruits or whatever, or on water. And then I thought, if I was to do, make a bigger pyramid and put it on in the allotment, or if you've got to raise beds and I want to try it out, is there any particular size you have to bear in mind?
For your garden to help your vegetables grow better? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying. I'm not sure about the size. You could make it big if it's outside. I like the pyramids that people make out of the copper pipes. You can make a square base, and then you can make a pyramid with the copper. Copper is nice because it'll hold up very well outside. It's very resistant to corrosion. And copper is a good metal. It's very beautiful metal, and it seems to have a really good energy. So I would encourage you, if you can, to make a nice copper pyramid for your garden. And I think it would be beautiful, and I think it would conduct some really nice cosmic energy into your garden, and it may very well help your plants grow and to help them produce more vegetables. So I think it's worth trying. As far as size goes, I don't know if it matters a whole lot.
I because somebody said to me, when you're making the pyramid, you got to bear the size of it in mind, the square and the top bit, the point.
Or you could,
right?
yeah, if your garden is really, really big, you could just have a pyramid in the center of your garden. Or if your garden is going to be small, you could try to make kind of a big pyramid where the square base is encompassing most of your garden. But that would be a pretty big pyramid if your garden got big.
What it is, we got the raised beds, which are about I would say 3 meter by 2 meter.
Okay.
We got about 6 or 7 raised beds because we work with people living with dementia, and it'd be nice for them to work in there, and also it will help them.
Yeah, maybe try to make a pyramid. from copper pipes that's maybe around 2 meters or so tall, and put it out
Yeah,
in the center. And that would be one that's about the same height, a little bit taller than most people. One that you could
yeah,
walk through, one that you could sit inside of and meditate if you wanted to, and just have it in your garden. And I think that would be great. And I'm sure it would be conducive for your garden too, to produce more fruits and vegetables. So yeah, it would be worth trying
yeah.
for sure.
I'm new into this pyramid thing, and I'm very interested in doing something.
I would
And listening to
encourage
you,
you to do it. I think the pyramid offers a way to bring more cosmic energy in.
yeah,
And so if you can meditate near a pyramid or inside of a pyramid, it's
yeah,
beneficial. It will help you for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Because we have got one of our colleague. He brought a small pyramid, a copper one. It had the base and the pyramid as well, and we're trying it on our different members, see how it helps them. So when they were using it, and then when I went to the allotment, I thought it'd be nice to have a pyramid on top of our raised bed to make the plant grow.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's worth trying.
Yeah,
Definitely do
yeah.
it.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
are you whereabouts are you? Are you in local or?
I live in North Carolina. I'm in the United States. I live
Oh,
in
right.
North
Okay.
Carolina, near to the
Right.
city of Raleigh. Yeah. So
Yeah. I'm from UK, so it's wonderful meeting you, and thank you for your wisdom,
you're welcome. Great
love
to
and
meet you.
love and light.
Thank you. Love and light to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, James, it was absolutely heartwarming. I do want to end this session, but we are over 47 minutes, and I really appreciate your
It's okay
patience.
for me. Doesn't matter.
And I would actually say that every word that you uttered, we didn't just learned some wisdom from you, but we really lived it. We could experience every word that you uttered. When you said love, we could experience love. When you said joy, we could experience that joy. So that's the presence that you bring, that's the flow of energy that you bring into the session. I'm really very grateful that I got an opportunity to have a conversation with you. So, really, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for this session, James. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a very big pleasure for me to come and to talk to you and to share this time together. And I just want to say to everyone, I love you all. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we're always together, whether it seems that way or not. Just remember, we're always together. And if you ever want me to come back, I'll be happy to come back and talk some more to you about this subject.
Very much. We would love to have you more and more, James. Thank you so much. And I thank all the participants here for, patiently listening and experiencing James' love throughout the session. And I want to thank all the partners, Omega Pyramid, PVI, PIMA, IFSS, PSSM, and PMMA for bringing lovely boy for our music. So thanks to everybody. It was lovely talking to James and going through this session. So see you all the next coming session, which will be on 11th May with Shreyans Daga. Until then, have a lovely days ahead and keep flowing in the love as James told. So thank you so much. See you all. Bye bye.